the stock market. You know, what goes up comes down, as we all know, and we don't know when and so forth. Is this perhaps more than an ordinary correction, or do you have a judgment on that at all? Chairman.
So your question is exactly the question I asked my staff and some of my colleagues across the federal government, because we should be asking those questions. By this morning, there was nothing to indicate that any of our systems didn't function as they were expected to function yesterday. This was the largest volume since November 2016. There was a significant price change, but it was not a price. We have two types of limits. We have single stock limits, and then we have market limits, the circuit breakers. Neither one of those were hit in any great detail. The single stock was 9. The circuit breakers didn't get hit. So as I sit here today, there's nothing that came out of this that concerns me from a functioning standpoint. But days like yesterday, our job is to look at them.
From a regulatory standpoint, are you saying that you don't see anything amiss?
Yes.
From a regulatory standpoint?
Yes.
You can't control what goes up and goes down. But what spooked the markets? Is it profit taking, perhaps? Is it a whiff of maybe inflation out there because people that watch the markets and participate in the markets see that the Fed is beginning to raise interest rates, dealing with price stability as they see it, and the Fed has information perhaps we don't have. The economy's hot, unemployment's low, so forth. There's a combination of all, or can we really say?
Well, I can't really say, because there are a lot of opinions on those things. Our job is to look at the functioning,
absolutely,
and look at the systemic risks.
That's right.
And I'm asking myself, is there anything that happened yesterday that gives me a different view of systemic risk than I had the day before? And so far, no. But that's a question I ask myself almost every day.
Of course, we all know that when the market is going up, people are elated. That's natural. Mm-hmm. When it's going down, some people profit, but not a lot of people are elated. Is that fair?
Fair.
Do you have any comment, Mr. Chairman?
I'm just smiling because just a recollection of a saying that a mentor of mine, who actually was my introduction into the financial markets, used to say. When I would ask him, he was an old hand in the markets, what drove the market up yesterday or down, he'd say, oh, it was up, oh, more people bought than sold. Oh, it was down, more people sold than bought. And we laughed, but what he said to me, he said, when you listen to the pundits and they say, well, the market was up yesterday because of this, mm-hmm. That may have been why or may have not been why, but the reporters or the pundit needed a reason. So they pick something out, and that becomes the reason for the day. And I don't mean to be facetious, but markets are very, very complex, very, very complex.
Very much.
And sometimes it's oversimplifying, and you hear it on the news, you hear it by people that are stock pickers, and they say, well, it was because of this. Well, I don't know how anybody really knows. Now, if there are fundamental moves, fundamental changes, that's where we have to do. And I share Chairman Clayton's view is our job is to look at the structural underpinnings and see whether there's anything that's not functioning.
See if the fundamentals are sound.
See if the fundamentals are sound. So you won't be surprised to know that we had a late night last night and early morning this morning, checking in with our exchanges to make sure that things are in order, making sure that the margin levels held, to make sure there was no significant margin breaches. And I can say that the system held, the system worked as it was designed to do, the margin levels worked as they were designed to work. And so the right systems, the right policies are in place. But the markets are always evolving, always organic, and that's why we need to stay very close to them.
The market always corrects. The question is this ordinary, maybe not an ordinary correction, but is it a correction? The market will correct itself, and we go from there. Is that fair?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.